is up, and welcome back to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I'm Ethan Simmy.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we are selling pot in Cape Cod as we talk about 2017's Hot Summer Nights.
In 1991, a sheltered teenage boy comes of age during a wild summer he spends on Cape Cod, getting rich from selling pot to gangsters, falling in love for the first time, partying, and eventually realizing that he is in over his head. I don't think very much of that is true about this film, I gotta be honest with you, except for the selling pot part. I think that is a farce. What's up, Ben? How are you?
Hello, how's it going? I'm good. I don't know how I feel about this conversation going forward. This was something else. It wasn't a slice, but it was something else.
Okay. No, I think that's good. I think that's a good place to start. We have no housekeeping to take care of here on the show today.
No.
We are just going to dive in and talk about Hot Summer Nights. And of course, the reason that we are talking about Hot Summer Nights is because, in fact, Timothee Chalamet is in this film. Of course, Timothee Chalamet, big year, Dune Part 2. He's got A Complete Unknown coming out on Christmas, the Bob Dylan biopic. So we thought we'd celebrate Timmy Boy a little bit. This movie came out in 2017. It is directed by Elijah Bynum. And there is something that I want to say about Elijah Bynum real quick. The runtime is an hour, 47 minutes. Like I said, it stars Timothee Chalamet, Micah Monroe of Longlegs fame, I guess you could say, from 2024, and Alex Rowe. The reason I say that I want to mention something about Elijah Bynum, because the only two movies that he's ever directed, Hot Summer Nights and Magazine Dreams, the Jonathan Majors boxing drama that premiered at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival, I believe, never got picked up by a distributor because of what transpired with Jonathan Majors and him being a terrible human being. I believe it is currently picked up by a very small distributor. I don't know if we have a release date or not. I've seen Magazine Dreams, and I just think it's funny that those are the two movies that he made. Hot Summer Nights is hot summer dog shit, and then Magazine Dreams just never got released.
I can't stop picturing this Venn diagram in my head of his two movies, and you're one of the very few people in the middle that has seen both. There's a handful of people that went to Sundance and got to see Magazine Dreams, and potentially none of them saw Hot Summer Nights. But then there's you, who's just right in the middle. It's I'm now 2 for 2 on Elijah Bynum movies.
That's
great.
So funny. That is so funny to me because you were so right. It looks like in October, Magazine Dreams was acquired by Briarcliff Entertainment, who generally does more interesting projects, I guess you could say. They do things that are a little less surefire. I think most people would know them from The Apprentice this year that got released with Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong. They generally will pick up things out of very small festivals. It looks like they have a movie from South by Southwest coming out in February as well. So I guess that's exciting to some extent because then that Venn diagram gets bigger potentially, and I'm not the only person in it.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's coming out in Q1 of 2025. It's the only thing on their Wikipedia with no date. It just says Q1. So I don't have great faith that this movie will ever see the light of day.
Yeah, or if anything, it's straight to VOD, right? Because there's so much trash that goes straight to VOD. Not that movie's trash, but it's got to be better than some of the stuff that goes to VOD. So I imagine it'll have to get there at some point.
Yeah, I'll say Magazine Dreams better than Hot Summer Nights. Not a great film though, unfortunately. Think about Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, but done on if you order it from Wish. Kind of a situation.
Oh, like Joker. Okay, got it.
Wow.
That makes sense.
That was completely uncalled for.
A Marty Scorsese movie ordered by Wish. Got it. Joker.
And I'm thrown off the task right now. That was insane that you just did that. Wow. I stand for Joker. I stand by Joker. Joker Folie à Deux. Did you ever see Joker Folie à Deux?
No, why would I have seen that? No, absolutely
You
not.
got it complete because your detestment for Joker. How can you not see the second one just so you can have a rounded out opinion?
I mean, like I said, I got some long flights ahead of me, so we'll see what's on the plane. Maybe I'll watch it there.
even for you, I don't recommend watching Joker. But like, don't even hate.
I'm gonna
watch
be
that
mad
movie.
at you. I'm gonna be over the Atlantic Ocean, be like, God damn it, Ethan! Like, I can't believe you made me watch that.
I wash my hands of this. That movie is literally one of the 3 worst films I've seen in 2024. Joker Fully Do is bad.
Wow.
But speaking of good movies, Joker, good movie. Magazine Dreams, not a great film. Speaking of worst movies, in the line of Joker Fully Do, would be Hot Summer Nights, in my opinion. You said it's not Slice, but it's something. Do you want to maybe just elaborate on that a little bit about what you thought about Hot Summer Nights?
Yeah, I mean, so this movie started, and essentially I was thinking, oh, this is like the Sandlot, but with drugs. Because I felt like this kid's parents were like, hey, it's the summertime. Go make friends. Go do stuff. Go get into trouble. I was like, oh, I've seen this movie. It's called The Sandlot. And then instead of baseball, he just like started selling drugs. I'm like,
Fair.
Okay, that's cool. It just felt like this weird movie that was put together with a lot of weird tropes, like being attracted to like your best friend's sister, but like you guys can't be together, but
who is also the
are,
bad girl. Like they tried to fit it all in one.
Yeah, and they really hit it home. Like they don't talk to each other anymore, so that's how he gets away with like being friends or whatever with both of them. It's like they hate each other and whatever. Like, okay, I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. I'm very curious to know for you where it lands on your A24 list. I feel like this would be definitely bottom tier, but maybe like the upper of the bottom half for me. Like I didn't hate it, but it wasn't good. Like I'm not going to choose to rewatch this if I don't have to by any means. Okay. It is interesting that this obviously, I'm curious when this got made in the terms of Chalamet's career, because it doesn't feel like he had anything under his belt when he made this. The movie that came out just before this was Call Me By Your Name, but I think they came out the same year. So there's no way that like, there was the success of Call Me By Your Name when he was filming this. So, you know, at some point you're just an actor and you're just taking whatever jobs you can get. And that's kind of what this movie felt like a little bit. And then, he just like blew up. It's like, oh, okay, cool. We have a Timothee Chalamet movie on our hands now. Let's do this. So, I don't know. It was fine, but I'm not going to revisit it.
Okay. I hated this movie. I thought it was atrocious. I thought it was really bad. I thought it was so bad. 100% what you said. And like, we'll get into this as we go through the film, but like, it is the most tonally obscure, can't pick a lane movie I think like maybe I've ever seen. Yeah. I couldn't care less about any of the characters. I just didn't give a shit about any of them, to be honest. Felt like no stakes. It felt like cool, we're just hanging out in Cape Cod selling drugs. And great. And like I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't connect like to Mike Monroe's character or Timmy's character. Like I just didn't care like whatsoever about anything that was happening in this very rich, affluent community where kids are like, I have to sell pot in order to stand out and be a bad boy. And then it just, a lot of the needle drops were just kind of groany to me. And it wanted to be really cool and really sophisticated, and it just never hit that home. I think the script is like quite poor. It's like quite poor. Some of the things that some of these characters say are literally just stupid. I think that a lot of the names of characters are so terrible in this film, and I want to talk about that as well. Like, I just didn't like this movie really on any level, kind of whatsoever. I don't like. It's not a half star. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it's it looks. There were some shots where I was like, that's cool. I see what you're going for, and then everything else, I was like, guess what? You're not sticking to that. You're choosing like in one moment you're like, let's be a thriller about selling pot and trying not to be found out by our head gang like Honcho, and then in the other one, let's have Timothée Chalamet try to be really awkward and funny. You can't have both. Like you can't just. I don't know if that's a miscasting thing. I don't know if that's a script thing or like a cinematography thing. But just none of it coalesced for me.
What about our faceless narrator? How much did you love little white boy number one?
Absolutely the worst trope that you could possibly throw into this movie.
It's so like, weird.
It's so weird. And it's so, and like, we're going to spoil Hot Summer Nights. This movie's been out for 7 years. If you don't want to know, I guess don't listen, but we're doing you a favor if you haven't seen Hot Summer Nights.
Yeah.
But like you get to the end of the movie and you find out it is really just this random white boy in the neighborhood who happened to be the last person to see Michaela alive in the city. And he's like, I guess we'll never know, and I guess our lives will never be the same. How the fuck do you know any of this transpired? This is all bullshit.
Yeah.
You don't know you were in your room all summer. You're like 6 years old.
Telling this whole story about shit. And it's just like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you're like, yeah, like you said, like you're 6 right now. This is absurd. It was just such a wild take. I kept waiting for the reveal. I'm like, I'm surprised we haven't met the narrator yet, because I'm fine with like a random narrator. Like Lebowski, one of my favorite movies ever, and they do a great job with like a random
but you're talking
narrator.
about the Coen brothers. Like you're talking about people who understand how to effectively use the trope. This movie does not.
Exactly. No, it has no idea how. And I just kept like wondering, who is this boy? Like, we've got to meet him at some point to understand that he knows everything that's going on. But like, as far as I know, we only see him at the very end of the movie, just like looking out a window, and that's it. It's like, oh, okay, random child. Like, thank you for the story. It's so weird.
Thank you for the story. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to set the stage because I want to keep talking about the things we're talking about. Timothee Chalamet's character is named Daniel. Micah Monroe's character, she's like the bad girl that everybody wants, that just like people dream of getting a whiff of her perfume. Again, it's just a ridiculous trope to be put in this presentation. Her name is Michaela. And then Alex Rowe, his character's name is Hunter. Now, Daniel and Hunter basically link up, and Hunter is already selling pot. Daniel shows up in Cape Cod, is like, I'll sell pot with you. And we find out that Hunter and Michaela are brother and sister. And so like we do get this like triangle of friendship and relationship. And like, again, that's another trope that we have to deal with here. I say all of this to frame what I think. You mentioned a reveal. I didn't even think about that. What would have been, in my opinion, like a really good reveal is if it ended up being Hunter narrating it from like the hospital bed, right? Like this is what has happened in his mind, and the story he was wishing he could tell people, but he can't because he gets shot at the end and he ends up being brain dead. Like, okay, cool. That makes sense. We have a vested interest in who this narrator is now, not some weird fucking kid.
Yeah, it was such a strange decision that did not pay off at all. And it just, I think, speaks to the lack of storytelling that the writer director has. And I don't mean to shit talk. Like, I know making movies is hard, but it's just like, you're kind of proving the point here. Like, it's difficult sometimes, and not everyone needs to be doing it.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Okay, so you mentioned Timothee Chalamet. What was he doing at this point in his career? He, of course, has Interstellar in 2014. I think that's his like first, you could really point to being like, that's the first Timothee Chalamet performance. And then, so he does that in 2014. So he does Call Me By Your Name, Luca Guadagnino film, obviously, Hot Summer Nights, and Lady Bird, all in 2017. Now, here's the thing. If Hot Summer Nights is good, if Hot Summer Nights is like Waves, if it's like something in that vein, which I think it is trying to be, is that an all-time triple run by a very young actor?
I mean, it's bookended by some amazing films, some fantastic films. And yeah, if you even just like bring up the bar a little bit, like that'd be amazing. But it's just like, it's like a shit sandwich. You know what I mean? It's like you got like two amazing pieces on the outside here, but it's like inside, it's just like nothing you want to eat at all.
It's kind of crazy because he does all of those. He then goes on and does Beautiful Boy, his film with Steve Carell, based off of a book, I believe. Very depressing, very introspective, very mature. A Rainy Day in New York, he ends up working with Woody Allen. I know that hasn't aged well, but like that's a big deal. Yeah. And then like he gets into doing The King with Robert Pattinson. He does Little Women. He starts working with Wes Anderson, The French Dispatch. Dune Part 1 come out in the same fucking year. Like, it's kind of unreal how quickly he takes off. If Hot Summer Nights comes out in late 2018 instead of 17, I don't know if Timothee Chalamet takes off the way that he does. I think that is too late, and that is a massive misstep in his already blossoming career. So honestly, he dodges a bullet here with this movie coming out as early as it did.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. I think yeah, we got Interstellar and Call Me by Your Name, and that kind of like set the motion going. And then I think he luckily had Lady Bird to kind of push down Hot Summer Nights, and for his like not resurgence, but just like his power to remain solid. So yeah, this is good timing on his part.
Very good, very good timing. Maybe that was the point. Maybe he's like, we can just get one more in,
Just slide
before
it
anybody
in.
knows.
Yeah, really quick.
Okay, we'll dive deeper into the Timothee Chalamet filmography here at the end. He's going to be our A1 act. Little spoiler alert there. We talked about the random narration, just a god-awful trope in this movie. I wrote here, the last big general thought bullet point I have here is ripoff of Boogie Nights? ? Did you think of any other films when you were watching this? Because it is so tropey, I couldn't stop myself from being like, I see what you're doing. You definitely pulled that from that movie. I understand where you might have got that idea.
Yeah, I don't think anything specific came to mind other than just remembering that I'd like seen this stuff before. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you want to get with your best friend's sister, but that's an issue. So got it. Okay, I understand what we're doing here with this trope. That makes sense. Or like you bite off a little more than you can chew because the guy's like, you're gonna have to sell 2 pounds of our shit. Like, what about 5 pounds? Like, this could be trouble. It's like all that kind of stuff.
That's like the record scratch moment where it's like in that moment he knew he was locked in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. And to its credit, like it kind of subverts the expectation of like they don't run into the problem where they can't sell the 5 pounds. Like if anything, it goes opposite and they just are super successful. But then I think he just gets like overly confident. It's like, all right, let's sell other shit now. So that's where the problem lies. So in that sense, it subverted what I thought was going to happen. But still, it's just like trope after trope after trope.
I say Boogie Nights because you get to the very end where basically Daniel is like, let's go over Dex's head and sell cocaine.
Yeah.
And he goes to this house to try to get cocaine. And William Fichtner, in just an all-time appearance, I was just like, that fucking guy. He's in this movie. He is Alfred Molina from Boogie Nights. Like that. That is the moment where they are doing the same exact thing that is happening at Boogie Nights. And it's atrocious in this movie and obviously masterful in that movie. I'm so perplexed by the continual tonal shift of this movie because it's an hour and 47 minutes long. If it wanted to go that route of like, let's do a big character exploration of Daniel and like his summer coming of age and selling drugs and falling in love and all of these things, make like a 2.5 hour really deep dramatic study. Like I honestly think the movie might have been substantially better if that's the way that we took, because it has some of the bearings to formulate something like that, and it just instead like decides to gloss over that massive part of like, cool, they went from selling 5 pounds, now they're selling 250 pounds a week, and now we're selling cocaine, and that all takes place in like 15 minutes. And like that should have been an hour, in my opinion. Like if you want to know, and I mentioned at the top of the pod, like I didn't feel really essentially no connection to these characters. It's because we glossed over so many pivotal moments, in my opinion. And the movie is so trope oriented that like you kind of have to have the repercussion tropes to go with it. Like there is not one single moment between Daniel and Michaela in which you worry about their relationship. They never fight. They never almost get caught. They never have any issues. It is all hunky-dory with them. You have a big reveal of like, Hunter and Michaela, they know Daniel together somehow. Nothing happens, essentially. It resolves instantaneously.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't have all of these big dramatic tropes and like none of the retribution of those tropes, and it just feels completely pointless, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my rant, and I feel good that I've got that off my chest about this film.
No, I think that's great. I think that's how I felt about how every character's story wrapped up in this movie. It was just like, nothing matters. Like,
terribly.
Nothing. Yeah, it's just like, this is weird. I don't like this.
So like, okay, yeah, let's just talk about
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's get into the movie, because I've got some questions about this, and I feel like I've been ranting. So we're gonna do true cinema here, and we'll dive through this, and I'll continue my ranting. Okay, so we start with just really the best trope of all time of like car accident 3 months before. And you're like, how did we get here? And I can tell you there's this thing going around on Twitter right now on X where it's like, what's the moment you knew you were watching a masterpiece? And like, this is the complete opposite of that, where I was like, 7 seconds into Hot Summer Nights, I know that this movie won't matter because we're starting out like this.
Yeah, no, it's a great call. It's the opposite of that thing going around Twitter, which is like, how did you know you're watching one of the worst movies you've ever seen? Like, I'll tell you how. 3 months before, bapped up on screen. I was like, okay, got it. All right, here we go. So, yeah, it was interesting beginning to say the least. And it's like, yeah, you're going to go live with your aunts, like fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's like, all right, cool, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't care about anything.
Right. That's my biggest problem with any of this is like, so we kind of get this story again in retrospect from this random kid who lives in Cape Cod, who knows nothing about Daniel except every intimate detail about his personal, intimate relationship with his father and his mother.
It's
how do we know any of that? Anyway, I just think it's ridiculous. So we learn that Daniel's dad dies and he gets sent away to live with his grandma in Cape Cod. We get like 4 seconds at the gravesite with him and his mom where she's like, you're getting out of here. And he's like, cool, you're sending me away for the summer. And then the next thing you know, he's in Cape Cod and like he's at a party basically. And he's just like chilling around and like drinking and like trying to hang out. And I just didn't care. I just felt like it didn't matter. Like, why does it matter that we're going to Cape Cod? I don't care.
Yeah, nothing mattered at all in this movie. And I think that was the big problem with is like, I just didn't care about anything. And it shouldn't feel that way at the beginning of a movie. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Then our narrator introduces us to this guy, the punk of the city, of the town, really. His name is Hunter Strawberry. That's terrible. That's terrible. If you're making up a fictional person name who apparently is rumored to have a 10-inch cock and murder people, and then you're going to name his last name Strawberry.
11 inches. Yeah, seriously. Like that's...
It was 11, man. Come on.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that when this was happening because, I mean, you and I have been talking recently about like screenwriting and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember that with what I wrote because I'm, creating all these characters like, oh, I have to come up with all their names, and what I'm doing personally is just like pulling from people in my real life. It's like, oh, I like their last name. I'll use that, but I'll do like a different first name or something. And I just got thinking about this. I was just like, did he know someone that had like a fruit last name? He's like, I'm gonna go with Strawberry this time. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. How do you come up with that? Like, it's just such a strange, like Strawberry is I know there's like famous baseball player, Darryl Strawberry. I get that, but like that's a real person. And so that it makes sense, I guess. But this one, it's like, why did you choose this? Like you actively chose this name. And that's one of the things towards the beginning of the movie that took me out of it. It was just like,
oh,
why that name?
I thought it was
so weird.
I thought it was like a joke at first. I thought that was like the name that people thought he had, and then come to find out, his name is much more fierce. That is not the case.
No, it's just Hunter Strawberry.
And even that like plays into the tonal juxtaposition of the whole movie, where it's like you're supposed to believe that Hunter runs the show of this town, and his last name's Strawberry. Absolutely not. Try again, brother. Try again.
Not happening.
Least intimidating name ever. So he links up with this guy named Hunter Strawberry, and we kind of get this. What I know is like a very, like if you're 13 years old and you watch this movie and you watch the editing, you're like, whoa, movies are cool, man. Like that's so rad. It's like quick swipe frames from one person, talking head to the next person talking head. And like we're doing really innovative stuff that comes across really lazy. In my opinion, it comes across as like, oh, wow, you saw one movie when you went to college. That's cool. And you just wanted to copy it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get that.
It's like, I also like Edgar Wright movies. So great job. It's like, but like he does it so well, like don't try to do what he does.
Right. Yeah. Leave it to the profesh.
Yeah.
Daniel ends up getting high with Hunter and smoking a bong, ripping a bong with him. And it's kind of funny. And it's also just like really lame at the same time. We're just like, okay, cool. Like, I guess you're getting stuck in on Cape Cod drug scene for the summer. Like, I don't know what else we expected from this movie.
I don't understand. Like, yeah, we meet Hunter because we meet him with his like the preamble that the narrator gives us, but like when he comes into the convenience shop, like hide this,
Yes.
and then so
oh yeah. So this is another point. Why is Hunter so quick to make the decision of like, hey, good job. You hid my weed from the cop. You should sell it. You're
right?
good.
Like that was another thing where it's like, this doesn't make any sense, It's just like, do you get high? Do you want to sell? Like, I want to sell your stuff. It's like, okay, great. Like, I don't know. None of this made any sense.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And then I think he's being chased by the police officer known as Calhoun, Sergeant Calhoun, which I think ends up being Amy's dad.
Yeah, like his girlfriend's dad or something, right?
Hunter ends up dating this girl named Amy towards the end. Sergeant Calhoun ends up being that person's dad. And basically, like, he's trying to do like I haven't seen Crash, so I can't really say, but like a Crash style, like, intersection of like, oh, all these people in this town is so small, isn't it? Like, they're all mended together and molded to the same fate. And it's like, you can't really do that when there's no stakes. Like, nothing matters. And this whole thing of like the eye of the storm, absolutely hilarious. Ridiculously conceived.
Yeah, it again, like, it's unnecessary. Like, it doesn't really add anything to it either, Like, there's just, we get some sad stories at the end of just people who are like, oh yeah, my house washed away, whatever, but like, it doesn't add anything. It doesn't have. It means
nothing to our characters because they're already gone.
Which is crazy. It's a fucking hurricane and it doesn't matter. It's it's ridiculous.
We gotta have one episode like this every so often where we're just like, this movie is bad for all of these reasons.
It's wild.
Daniel meets Michaela. This ends up being Hunter's sister. This is like the big thing, is like Daniel is selling weed for Hunter, ends up driving Michaela home from the drive-in. By the way, this drive-in is playing Terminator 2 like all summer long. Like, shout out to this drive-in. I guess that's the best part of this movie. Little fishy on the programming, but that's okay. Drives her home, has this really awkward, I'm going to tell you a joke and it's not funny, and it's just like literally actually not funny. Like, it's really cringe.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, but like it's actually, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's supposed to be movie cringe and not reality cringe. It's reality.
It's bad. It's like, even, everything you're saying, like the way it's meant to be delivered and the way that actually is delivered, like, oh no, this was just actually really hard to watch. Like, not like comedically hard to watch. Like, this is just really difficult. So, and I guess I didn't realize, so apparently this takes place in 91, right? If this is like when Terminator 2 comes out. So, okay, there's our time frame. It's a period piece 26 years earlier, which is weird. It's crazy.
Why? Like, why are we setting this movie in 1991, not in LA or New York? Like, why are we setting this in Cape Cod?
Cape Cod in 91. I don't know. Maybe that's what the hurricane's all about. Maybe smarter people are like, yeah, dude, that's what it was. But
that's why it's got to be.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at the trivia for Hot Summer Nights. There's 5 trivia notes for the whole movie. That's it. And it's literally about most of the actors and what films they have previously made together. That's literally all about this movie. There's no like interesting tidbits about this film.
Which is like, okay, so I just typed in Hurricane Cape Cod 91. So Hurricane Bob was real. It happened from August 16th to August 20th in 1991.
Oh, that's literally the timeline of this movie then.
Yeah, so that all makes sense. It's just weird how little it adds to the story. Like, I don't understand why they chose this. Like,
so this is a docudrama, is what you're telling me.
I guess so. Yeah,
filmed on location. This is real.
This is a docudrama for sure. Was Chalamet alive? I don't even know if he was alive when Hurricane Bob happened. Yes,
which is fascinating.
Like, so it's real, and I get that aspect of it, but it's just like, what's it adding to the story? I just don't think it's adding anything to the story other than at the end, this stuff about like, I don't know. They didn't find his body till 4 days later. It's like, okay, but I mean,
it's trying to be a physical atonement for like, look what happens to your life when you choose to sell drugs and hang out with bad people. And it's also trying to be like this embodiment of like this core group of kids, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. This core group of young folk, they have caused this town irreparable damage. And I don't know. I just think it's like way overblown. Not to put a wind pun out there, but I thought that was pretty good. Okay. Next bullet point. Hunter beats a guy to death, nearly. Timothee Chalamet's character Daniel goes to a party and is like, let me see if we can get some better weed. Some more bulk weed, right? They want to work around because Hunter's just selling dime bags at this point. Goes into this party, it's taking a while. Hunter stays out in the car, ends up coming in and just absolutely demolishing this guy that is about to take Daniel to task, really.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop beating him. I thought he killed him. We find out later that guy now shits in a bag, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which is just like the whole point of the scene is just to like show how tough Hunter is. And it's like, don't mess with Hunter and his weed program. But it's also like, you just hired Daniel and now he is going over your head to try to get you more bulk weed.
Yeah.
Like none of the logistical structures of this weed business make any sense.
No, it doesn't at all. And to me, this scene was obviously just showing us like when Hunter sees red, he sees red and there's no turning it off, So
sure.
In that sense, I got it because I called back to this scene during the arcade scene. It's like, oh, this is what Daniel's got to be thinking about. It's like, I've seen Hunter fuck somebody up before. It's like,
fair.
You've got to cover for me that we don't know each other because like he might literally kill me. Which to the point, the sister even says later, he's like, oh, he's going to kill you, So like, I get that aspect of it. But I'm just like, I don't know that they would have gotten in this situation either. Like you just meant Daniel, you're not going to be like, yeah, you go handle this for us. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And he just like, Daniel takes control so quickly where he's just like, I'll do the talking. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
And Hunter's like, all right. Which just like totally is not in line with his character traits whatsoever. Next bullet point here is the lollipop. Pretty erotic. I gotta be honest with you. Like the bad girl that Mike Monroe is like very pretty in this movie is definitely portrayed as like the sex symbol, right? The coming of age sex symbol that changes Daniel from a young buck into a mature stallion here. They re-meet by circumstances at the store, and he's sucking on a lollipop, and she comes over, takes it out, and takes a big lick, puts it back in his mouth. I don't know. I'd need an inhaler after that if that happened to me. So, but like, at least I got that right.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, they got that part with her sexuality or whatever coming through, and kind of how hard to get she plays. I think I kind of like because he said something. Like, oh, I'll see you there. He's like, yeah, maybe we could share a lollipop again. He's like, yeah, you wish, It's like, all right, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So hard to get girl. I like that.
Yeah, it was good. But the way they sold her is like the hottest piece of ass in Cape Cod or whatever, It's just like, yeah, dude, I don't even know if she's the hottest in her friend group, but okay. So I don't know.
No, I fair. Like, honestly, I think part of that lies in it trying to be like a 91 period piece of like everybody wanted the bad girl.
Yeah, it's true.
But the only reason that semi works is because we get this massive preamble from this kid who's like, people would chew her gum that she would put on the bottom of a phone booth. And that's as close as they would ever get to kissing her. And then we just come back to this trope of like, everybody thinks she's the bad girl and gets with everybody and all this stuff. And then, lo and behold, she's never had sex. It's like, yeah, I know. That trope has been done in a million movies.
Seriously. It's like, man, tired.
Next up, the diner conversation with Dex. So Hunter and Daniel go to this diner. Daniel gets lifted into a van by this guy named Dex. And he already has Hunter in the back of the van. They go to the diner. Dex orders some waffles. Those waffles looked banging, by the way.
Legit, yeah.
This movie did remind me a lot of Spring Breakers, and it also reminded me sometimes, what's the movie? Oh, Never Going Back, the movie with Kyle Mooney.
Yeah.
Where people just get stoned and like kind of hang. Kind of reminded me of those movies a little bit, and I think it's in the same vein, like time period of A24, kind of attaching themselves to these films.
For sure.
They go to the diner, the waffles look really good. Dex is like, you're going to sell our stuff. We're going to give you £5 or £2. You have to sell in the next 2 days. Good luck. Hunter, the little bitch that he is like, what happens if we don't? And Dex is like, you've seen the movies. And then Daniel's like, we'll take £5, please, sir. This whole scene, A, it goes on way too long.
Yeah.
And B, this is one of the moments where I'm just like, man, this script is really loose. Like, this script is just not real. It's just the fact that he goes, you've seen the movies, and like, it's such a terrible meta play on like, you know what's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna die because we all sell drugs.
Yeah, it's what you think is gonna happen is gonna happen because we all know this trope. It's like, all right, cool, we got it. And then just like the like homophobic insult, like, what's your boyfriend do over there?
God.
You know, it's like, all right, man. Like, I get it's like 91, whatever, but it's like, this is just so dumb. Yeah, I didn't care for the scene. And like you said, it just went on too long. I think that was like the biggest part of it. It's just like, let's wrap this up, you know? Like, let's move on.
What's Daniel's like prerogative in all of this? Does Daniel like the money? Does he like the attention from Hunter? Does he think selling drugs makes him cool? Like, what is literally the root motivation for Daniel being like, no, we'll take £5? I literally don't know. I'm genuinely asking.
I was just going to say, next time you see Elijah Bynum on the red carpet, ask him, like, hey, what the fuck was Daniel's motivation? Because you never got to it.
You never told us. That's part of why this movie just doesn't work at all. We don't know what he wants. Like, we don't know why he cares. Okay. The next bullet point, I only have a few more to go, and these ones are actually really quick. Make out, punch, fireworks. I like this really overplayed trope of Daniel speaking to Michaela again at the fair and bringing her Epsom salt, like the cute little boy that he is. And he walks away, and he's about to take his inhaler, and he's like, no, I'm going to be a man. I'm going back, and I'm going to kiss her in front of her friends and her boyfriend. And he does just that, and we get, of course, what I thought was like obviously a huge nod to Hitchcock with the fireworks, like representing, you know, the sexual explosion that's happening within Timothee Chalamet's brain. He makes out, he gets decked by her boyfriend at the time, and then we see the fireworks for what felt like 90 seconds. I don't know. Again, way too long.
Yeah, the fireworks scene went on too long. To call back to Lebowski again, like, they literally do this in Lebowski where
yes, they do.
He gets punched while he's on the rug, and then we go to fireworks, like in his like daydream or whatever. It's like, all right, yeah, we've seen this, but again, to that point, it's like we needed to see at max 3 fireworks, and I feel like we sat on this for like 40 seconds. You know,
yes.
It's like, okay, we get it. Like, move on. This is just absurd.
It's absurd. Okay, next question. This bullet point is really a question to you. The next time that they really interact is at the drive-in. Daniel and Hunter just go to see movies now, I guess, together, and that's a thing. Even though I don't think that they're actually friends. And he goes to the bathroom. Really funny little Timothee Chalamet dick grabbing waddle in this scene. I got to be honest, it's really funny stuff. He runs into Michaela at the concession stand. Her little posse. Please no, I just wanted all of them to shut the fuck up.
They were going after him hard. They did not like him at all.
It's so Mean Girls coded, where it's just really like they just say the same thing that the leader of the pack says. They're all going after him, and Michaela obviously kind of shrugs him off. He kind of funnily is like, listen, and you think he's gearing up to like give it to Michaela a little bit of like, listen, I love you, and this is what matters. And he's like, I gotta pee. And then he goes to the bathroom. He gets ready to go to the bathroom. Michaela comes into the restroom, of which there are no other patrons. I find that very fascinating. The concession stand lobby is jam-packed, and there's just nobody else in the men's restroom. Comes and very vigorously kisses him, and it is kind of gives off vibes of like Fair Play when that scene. I don't know if you've seen that movie when they're in the bathroom and they start going at it, but basically it happens, and then she like, you know, wipes her mouth, like walks away. Kind of like Sandy and Grease a little bit, where it's like, oh, you know, you think you can get me? Well, it's only on my watch, kind of a thing.
I haven't seen
and whatever. And I don't know. My question is, do you pee or do you make out? I honestly, it looks like he had to pee so bad. I don't know how he had any arousal from kissing Michaela.
There's just no way I couldn't not pee. Like I have, unless once you turn that corner, because I have like such bad stage fright, I'd be like, oh God, like you have to leave. I can't pee while you're here. And I really have to pee. Like I really have to go. No, I would just be like blinders on. It's like, I'm peeing. You need to wait a sec. Because like I have to do this first.
Incredibly disrespectful of her. She knows he's got to pee.
Leave
the boy alone.
Yeah.
Leave the boy alone. The arcade reveal we kind of mentioned. This is where Michaela and Daniel are at the arcade. Things are really fun and cute. And then Hunter and his new girlfriend of
Amy. Right?
Amy. Yep. Amy shows up and Michaela's off getting quarters. Hunter is like, what are you doing here, you loser? You play video games by yourself? And then Michaela shows up and he's like, do you guys know each other? And then, of course, no repercussions come of it and nothing matters. And you just have Amy there as like this kind of like little leech who's just like, calm down, Hunter. It's okay. You're going to be all right. And he's like, no, I'm cool. I'm cool. And that's that.
And that's all that happens. Yeah, nothing happens from this. Also, I think I'm just now realizing that Amy is one of the two leads from Never Going Back. Speaking of that movie.
Wow, no way.
Maya Mitchell. I was like, where do I recognize her from?
That's crazy.
She's one of the two leads from that. So yeah, talk about A24. This
Dude, I'm telling you, they came out 1 year after.
Yeah.
This is what A24 was like, we got to get the stoner movies.
Yeah, we got to make it happen. Yeah, what got me is it's just like nothing comes from it. There's no real like relationship blow up. There's no real freak out or anything like that. Like he just picks her up and then like they're kind of okay. And it's just like, that's it. Like that's all that happens. Like, I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah, Michaela's like, I'm going to walk home. And then she leaves. And then, of course, Daniel goes after her. And just like everything's fine. Everything's copacetic. I don't really get it. There's some other things that happen like after this arcade reveal. We get like Michaela and Hunter like confront each other about their mom. And like, all mom ever wanted you to do was not sell weed, Hunter. Can you just do that for her? That like B storyline is abysmal. It makes no sense whatsoever. It plays no part in any of their character traits whatsoever. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to like buy into this big dramatic kind of like butting heads of it. And it just doesn't work at all.
No, not at all. It does. We just don't care, you know, because even like when they talk like, are you still getting the mail or whatever, you know, it's dumb shit like that. It's like, all right, you guys, we get it. You don't talk to each other. Like, this is so forced. It's so bad.
It's so forced. And then it's obviously supposed to be a big deal at the end when Michaela pulls out the picture of them when they were kids. She's like, I regret my life. I should talk to my brother, and then finds his dead body.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool, sick. Like, I don't know. You fucked up. Like, good for you.
Thanks, little narrator boy.
Thank you, little narrator boy. We'll get to the ending of everybody. I'd mentioned William Fichtner coming in what to me was like a complete low class Boogie Nights ripoff. Like no offense, but like it's literally what it was. This is where I don't know what she's referred to in the film. I can't remember. Steph? I don't know if it's Steph.
Oh, the piano player?
Yeah.
Daisy, I think.
Daisy's topless, like big Boogie Nights vibes. William Fichtner is trying to be Alfred Molina, but like actually calm. He goes on like this pseudo monologue of like life isn't fair, which I thought was completely misplaced.
Yeah.
Great idea. The whole movie needs to be that. Otherwise, it is completely misconstrued. Daniel goes there to go over Dex's head, to go over Hunter's head, start selling cocaine, and really start working his way up the drug business, even though I don't think he gives a shit about selling drugs. No. And he is basically, the guy's name is Shep. Shep is like, you gotta like try the cocaine. You gotta do the cocaine. The other guy in this scene, Chester, is played by Ezra Bynum, who is Elijah's brother, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So a little interesting there. And then Daniel's like, yo, that's good shit. Like that hit. And the guy's like, that was baby powder, brother. Like, he's like, I'm going to take your money because you're stupid. And because I can, because I'm powerful, which I think in theory works. it's also just like, again, like it doesn't matter. Like who gives a shit? And like we lost the plot a long time ago, kind of a thing.
For sure.
I don't know. I think this scene is like at most lame.
It feels like it has the foundations of being a really powerful, impactful scene, but it just is not able to pull it off, I guess, with like the parts that we are given. You know, like William Fichtner is great. Like he's fantastic.
Yeah. He's so good.
But it just
what do I know him from the most?
I mean,
Star Wars movie, right?
Well, no, I would say people probably recognize him most from the opening of The Dark Knight because he's the dude in the bank. That's
like, what it is.
What do you stand for? Yeah, he's that dude.
Oh, the shotgun shells. Yes.
Shotgun shells.
Shotgun shells. Dude, man, he's credited with 99 acting credits.
That's a lot.
That's insane, dude.
I think that's probably where most people know him from.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going back through his filmography real quick to see. I mean, he's got a voice credit on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. That's sick, if you ask me.
Damn.
That's cool. Yeah. The Dark Knight, bank manager. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. I think he's a good actor. I think this scene is completely miscontrived. And then the ending of everybody, the hurricane is here. The eye of the storm is happening. People are like, we got to get out of town. And this is where we have like a really solemn moment between Officer Calhoun and Hunter, where Calhoun is like, look at your dad. We used to be thick as thieves, and now he's a douchebag. And I think that he left me in the dust for my own good, so I wouldn't turn out like him. And it's supposed to like scare Hunter straight, and it absolutely does nothing. Hunter like sheds a tear and is like, since when it is illegal to have a dad that's a fuck up? It's like, it's like nobody cares.
Nobody cares at all.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So that happens. We get that really weird moment. And then Dex comes by, or I guess Daniel comes by to talk to Hunter and is like, I got to see Michaela one last time. He's like, I don't know where Michaela is. Runs to Michaela's house. Michaela's not there. Of course, Michaela's on the way to see both of them at this car shop that I guess everybody knows that they're going to be at. I don't really understand that. Does Hunter own that shop?
Yeah, so you're telling me there's a trope where one character thinks someone's going to be at one place and the other one thinks they're going to be at a different place, and they literally pass each other and then find out like, oh, what? You're not here where I thought you'd be? Crazy. What a crazy idea that is.
I have never heard of that before. That is brilliant stuff.
Such a wild idea.
Dex comes looking for Daniel. Hunter's like, I don't know, he's not here. And Dex is like, man, tough beat. And just shoots him. Just pops him on the spot. All of Dex's monologue is just absolutely god awful in this scene.
Bad.
I don't know if it's the actor. I don't know if it's the script, but it's terrible either way. This is when Michaela comes across Hunter's body. Then we get to current day where we started in the beginning. Daniel is just like pumping the gas and gets into a car accident, of which he escapes unharmed, basically.
Then starts running.
He starts running. And then we find out from this little boy narrator, and he's like, I was the last person to see Michaela alive in this town. I don't know where she is. Also, some people say that Daniel took off to Wyoming. I don't know. And that's how the movie ends.
The one thing he doesn't know is where Daniel is. He knows everything else in this entire story somehow, but he doesn't know where Daniel ends up. Like, it's just wild. Yeah, I don't know. This movie's a mess. This movie's crazy. Such a weird ending. I don't know. What is there to say about this movie?
I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get it at all. I think it's terrible. I think it's a bad movie. Okay. I'm going to make you pick a truth in a moment. You should pick something good.
I don't know if it's good, but like the one part of this that I kind of enjoyed or I thought was like a good moment was the first time, oh God, what's her name? Michaela. When like she leaves the other guy to come into Daniel's car. Okay. And she's like, take me, let's get out of here. Then the guy comes, he's like pointing at him, whatever. And Daniel's just frozen. And she's just like, or just sit here. And he's like, oh, okay, shit. Like, let's go. Like, I kind of like that, like a little bit of like actual emotion and like some, I don't know, something out of her. Like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, let's get this party going. Let's fucking move, you know, gets him going. So I like that.
That was
That
pretty
scene kind
funny.
of caught me. He's like, or just sit here. It's like, oh yeah, you have the hottest girl in town in your car. Like, listen to what she's saying.
But like
So,
Daniel doesn't know she's the hottest girl in town. He's a summer bird, everybody
that's true.
says.
That's true. He's like,
How
not a
does Daniel
townie.
know where
Not a townie.
Michaela ranks in the
Yeah.
town social ladder?
Ridiculous.
It just doesn't make any sense. Also, what happens in that scene where Daniel's like, man, that guy was a real asshole. And Michaela's like, how do you know?
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
you
true.
don't know this
Yeah.
guy. Okay, my true cinema moment, I'm going with the pee or make out. I just think it was like just hilarious
Yeah.
moment. I think they're hot together. Like I get what we're going for. Like it is hot, but it's also like I can't help but watch this scene and be like, I'm sure my guy's kidneys are going to explode.
Oh,
like
for
this
sure.
is terrible for this
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Just what a flick. What a movie we have on our hands here. Okay. A1 act. Timothee Chalamet. Naturally.
You know what I'm going to say real quick, though?
Please.
Maybe we should have done William Fichtner's A1 act because this dude.
He's been in
Okay.
so much good shit. Put it, roll through it. Just
He was
add
in,
it, man.
He was in Malcolm X.
Yep.
He was in Quiz Show. He was in Contact. He was in Armageddon. You know what else he was in? A little movie called Heat.
Oh,
Van
I know.
Zandt. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And
Van
The Dark
Zandt
Knight. Like,
holes
talk-
up in that fucking office forever, petrified that he's
Yeah.
going to die.
This dude has been in just like some of the all-time greatest films. It's crazy.
That's so nuts that he makes Heat in 95 and then Contact in 97 and Armageddon in 98.
Yeah.
God,
just killing
wow.
it. And then Hot Summer Nights in 2017.
That's
Oh,
tough. What does this
here we
run
are.
in 17 look like for this guy? Hot Summer Nights, The Neighbor, Crystal, 12 Shot. I've never heard of any of these movies.
No, Black
Shoot.
Holes. It's a short.
Not ideal. Man, how the mighty fall, you know?
Kind of
That's
crazy.
tough. He was in Hypnotic in 2023. Did you ever see Hypnotic, that Ben Affleck movie?
No.
I liked it.
I've heard
I
of
liked it more than most. I think it's quite poor, but I liked it more than most. I watched it on a plane, which is probably why it kept me awake. And I was like, kudos to this movie.
He was in a movie called, or he's in a podcast series called Supreme, The Battle for Roe, where he played Chief Justice Warren Burger, which might be the least intimidating name after Hunter Strawberry. Warren Burger. Oh,
What is it
man.
with his attachment in movies and people's
I
food
don't know.
names? Wow. Okay. Timothee Chalamet. Interstellar, like we mentioned. Call Me by Your Name. Hot Summer Nights. Lady Bird. Beautiful Boy. Little Women. The French Dispatch. Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2. Don't Look Up. Movie that's being reclaimed by many. I'm a day one truther.
Yeah.
Bones and All. And Wonka. That's what we've got here on the list.
You really kind of trailed off there at the end. Wonka. He was in Wonka. Come on. I know you love that movie.
Yeah, he was in Wonka.
in
He's
bold
going to
for
be
you.
in A Complete Unknown on December 25th. And he's also, of course, starring in Marty Supreme coming out next year for A24.
Mhm.
Wow. What an interesting filmography. He's
Really
definitely like
is.
one of the fastest rising movie stars.
So
and maybe
quick.
ever.
Mhm.
Okay.
For me, man, I don't know.
You have the
Like,
chance to do one of the funniest things ever on this podcast.
Take Don't Look Up.
That would be the second funniest thing
That'd be the
ever.
second funniest thing.
If you just got on your podium for Wonka right now, I would literally, this pod would end on the
It
spot.
would just be over. This is the end. This is the last episode. Thanks, everybody.
This is the end. It's been a pleasure.
I am sincerely, though, going to go with Call Me By Your Name.
Okay.
Beautiful movie. He's amazing in it. I can't believe that's really kind of like his first starring role because he crushes it. Like, I understand he's an Interstellar beforehand, but he and, Army Hammer side, but like, it's a great movie and they are great together. So,
Yeah.
and Michael Stuhlbarg, like, he's amazing too. So, yeah, Call Me By Your Name is what I'm going to go with.
No, I think that's a good pick. I have not seen Call Me By Your Name still. Like I'm still, that's one of the big ones that jury's out on. Here's the interesting thing about Timothee Chalamet for me. It's just a career of hits and misses.
Mm.
Like I think he's good in a lot of stuff, but like I don't think Interstellar is all that great. Hot Summer Nights is terrible. Obviously Wonka is, I don't know, the scourge of the earth. And then Bones and All. I didn't really like Bones and All either. Maybe I need to give Bones and All a revisit, but there was most of that movie I did not love. So I don't know. I'm just like a little colder on Timothee Chalamet as an actor than I think the mass public has agreed upon.
Here's a question for you.
Oh.
You have to spend 24 hours in a room, locked away, watching one film. And I come to you and I hand you 2 DVDs, not even Blu-rays, just 2 DVDs.
Fucking DVDs?
Yeah, and it's Hot Summer Nights and Wonka. What are you taking?
This may come as a shock. Oh God, I don't know if I could do Wonka, dude. There's so many things
You'd be singing the songs by the end of that 24 hours.
So many things I can't stand about that movie. I think it's terrible.
But is it worse than this?
No, I would take Wonka.
Okay.
I would. I gotta.
You just clip that for me, just like I'd take Wonka and just like let's just run that.
I will text
Sophie
Sophie and I will let Sophie know that I've come around. I still hold true that I don't think Wonka is a good movie, but like the entirety of Wonka is much, much better than anything in this film.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I framed that wrong. There are moments in Wonka that are better than the entirety of this film.
For sure.
I think is the fair way to put it. I would be singing the songs. That's true. Wonka 2 confirmed to be in production.
Like, yes.
Tough beat for our boy Timothee Chalamet. Tough beat. What am I picking? Well, it's not Wonka. Can I pick? No, I'm not going to pick Don't Look Up. He doesn't have a big enough part in that movie. I will choose Lady Bird. I think he's great in Lady Bird. And we are an A24 pod after all.
Yeah.
What's
Who
his
the fuck
thing?
is on top their first time having sex?
Exactly.
Good.
And he has like a weird thing about cell phones too, doesn't he?
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's pretty good. He's kind of an asshole, but I think it's a good movie for sure. Okay. What is your A24 ranking for the film that is titled Hot Summer Nights?
I think I'm gonna have to go with a D24.
Wow, a D.
D.
What have you given an F before? I know you've given out Fs.
Slice and everything in the sky or whatever it's called. The Sky's Everywhere. What's it called? I forget what it's called.
That movie I don't know the title of. Okay,
yeah, the Jason Segel movie.
The D. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with a D minus. I think it's fair. I think an F is a little unfair. Like I said, to end on a positive note, there are moments that I can tell what this movie wants to do, and I can tell what it wants to be. And like it looks cool. I just don't think any of it comes close to remotely working as a true piece, as an entire film. And like, okay, look, can I bump it? Can I bump it to a D? Because I just remember we have the lollipop scene.
Yeah, we have a lollipop scene. Yeah, go with a D.
That's worth it, in my opinion, just for that scene. Okay.
The last thing on record, I gave an F24 to, but this comes to like my bad record keeping on this pod. Like we haven't been really keeping track of our
record
ratings.
keeping, yeah, lost to time really.
Yeah, but was episode 1 of The Idol.
Oh my
the last
God.
thing that I have an official.
Bro,
but I'm
The
sure
Idol's
there's
terrible.
other stuff. It's not good.
I was writing for The Idol for so long. I was like, you can do it. Like, I get what you're going for. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
And then we got to like the last 2 episodes and I was like, oh man, you really shit the bed on this one. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you probably also gave an F to The Curse. You didn't even watch the rest of The Curse. That's an F in my book.
I mean,
right? Oh no, you did watch the rest
I did
of it.
for our recap. Yeah. That last episode was entertaining to say the least. I don't remember what I gave it as a whole, but
yeah.
The last thing on record is episode 1 of The Idol, but I'm pretty sure I gave Slice an F as well.
That's terrible. Terrible business. Any closing thoughts on Hot Summer Nights? Anything else you want to say that you didn't get to say?
No. What I mean, Alex Rowe, like he was decent as Hunter. Like, what do we not? Is he not around? I'm sure he's doing shit. I just can't think of anything I've seen him in.
The Fifth Wave, Forever My Girl. He was in a movie this year called Depravity, a movie nobody has heard of.
Yeah.
With Dermot Mulroney, okay, and Victoria Justice. Interesting.
Yeah, I would say I don't hate him in this movie, but didn't turn into anything else. But
yeah, I don't really know anything else that he's from.
Yeah.
He has an upcoming film called Hazard. I don't know what that is.
Interesting.
A young man faces hard life choices and tragedies as he attempts to break the cycle of addiction tearing his family apart. Okay, well, very in line for the character of Hunter Strawberry. Maybe it's the resurgence.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back. Next week on the pod, we are talking about a new A24 movie, Heretic, a new religious horror film, of which I have seen. I was at the world premiere, which was pretty exciting. Yeah. I'll toot my own horn on that one. Are you excited for Heretic, Ben?
I am. I tried to get into the special screening they had here with Whitney from Real Housewives of Salt Lake and the other Whitney from Real Lives of Mormon. Why? Or is that what it's called? I don't remember. But yeah, I put in for tickets from the A24 and it just didn't work out. Unfortunately, it's literally the theater I go to every time. It's down this like a mile down the street. It's like, oh, I could be right there. Never heard from them. So that's unfortunate. I'm excited for this. Both with my Mormon upbringing and just my general love of Hugh Grant and Notting Hill and Paddington. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Still haven't seen Paddington. I have reviews. Now that's a question. Would I finally watch Paddington for the first time, or would I just rewatch Wonka on DVD?
Oh, that's a good one. I think there's, I mean, even me as someone who enjoys Wonka, there's a clear answer for that. But
yet to be determined. Don't know. Yeah, I'm excited for Heretic. I think it's going to be a good conversation. A lot of people seeing that movie, getting pretty high praise, pretty good reviews. So yeah, I'm excited, man. It'll be good.
It's going to be a good conversation. But until then, let us know what your thoughts are on Hot Summer Nights. Are you one of the few people in that Venn diagram of Ethan that has somehow seen?
Join me, please.
Yeah, what's it called? Something Dreams, Magazine Dreams, Hot Summer Nights. But honestly, I feel like the amount of people that have seen this movie is pretty slim too. So let us know if you have seen this film, where this falls in your Timmy rankings.
Before we wrap, you mentioned at the beginning you wanted to know where this falls on my A24 list.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, good call.
I have 109 logged and rated and ranked A24 films. This is number 101.
Damn.
The Sky is Everywhere at 109. I'll go 109 to 101. The Sky is Everywhere. Jerry Lee Lewis, Trouble in Mind. That should surprise no one. Slice. So we're 3 for 3 so far. Tuesday, a movie that I truly detest. Barely Lethal. A movie that is better than this, by the way. So I need to restructure.
Yeah.
Because at least Jessica Alba's in that movie. The Whale, Supersonic, Lamb. And then I have Hot Summer Nights. But we're gonna do a lot. We're gonna do a live switch out. We're bumping Barely Lethal up to ahead of this movie.
I don't think I ever knew or realized you had Oasis Supersonic that low. You really didn't like that, did you? Or you just don't care about it?
No, I think it was fine. I just don't care about it.
Okay.
It's like just because I don't care about it, I'm gonna keep it low. You know what I mean?
Sense,
like
yeah.
I'm not gonna prop it up.
That's fine.
But like, yeah, tough beat for the bottom 8.
That's a bummer. That is a bummer. Well, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can see us talk about Ethan's A24 rankings. Is Heretic in there, or will it be number 110?
Heretic should be in this list.
Okay. I don't want to know where it's at, but I just didn't know if it was part of the 109 or not.
It is in the 109, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Join us on YouTube.
As is Baby Girl and Y2K and a bunch of movies that haven't come out.
Dang, dude.
That I've seen, actually.
Yeah, I like it.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Again, YouTube, subscribe, follow us there. You can hear us and watch us and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, everybody, for your support. We appreciate it. I am Ben Lawhorn.
And I am Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.